Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari I think you could grab the book, Jamal, please. Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajagacharya Ashtottara Shatashri Madhusvangay Sisa Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the sum of devotees. All glories to the sum of devotees. All glories to the sum of devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to the Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is fourth canto. Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 11, Swayambhuva Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj, on text 17. Nimitta matram tatrasin nirguna purusharshabha bhaktavyaktam idam vishvam yatra brahmati lohavat Nimitta matram tatrasin Nirguna purusharshabha Vyakta vyaktam idam vishvam Yatra brahmati lohavat Nimitta matram tatrasin Nirguna purusharshabha Vyakta vyaktam idam vishvam Yatra brahmati lohavat Nimittamatam, remote cause. Tatra, then. Asit, was. Nirgunaha, uncontaminated. Purusha Rishabhaha, the Supreme Person. Vyakta, manifested. Avyaktam, unmanifested. Idam, this. Vishwam, world. Yatra, where. Pramati, moves. Lohavat, like iron. Translation. My dear Dhruva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. He is the remote cause of the creation of this material cosmic manifestation. When he gives the impetus, many other causes and effects are produced, and thus the whole universe moves. Just as iron moves by the integrated force of a magnet. Purport. How the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead works within this material world is explained in this verse. Everything is happening by the energy of the Supreme Lord. The atheistic philosophers who do not agree to accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead as original cause of creation think that the material world moves by the action and reaction of different material elements. Simple example of the interaction of elements occurs when we mix soda and acid and the movement of effervescence is produced. But one cannot produce life by such interaction of chemicals. There are 8,400,000 species, different species of life, with different wishes and different actions. How the material force is working cannot be explained just on the basis of chemical reaction. A suitable example in this connection is that of the potter and the potter's wheel. The potter's wheel rotates, and several varieties of earthen pots come out. There are many causes for the earthen pots, but the original cause is the potter, who sets a force on the wheel. That force comes by his superintendence. The same idea is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Behind all material action and reaction there is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna says that everything depends on his energy, and yet he is not everywhere. The pot is produced under certain conditions of action, reaction, and material energy, but the potter is not in the pot. In a similar way, the material creation is set up by the Lord, but he remains aloof. As stated in the Vedas, he simply glanced over it, and the agitation of matter immediately began. Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that the Lord impregnates the material energy with the part and parcel jivas, and thus the different forms and different activities immediately ensue. Because of the different desires and karmic activities of the jiva soul, different types of bodies and different species are produced. In Darwin's theory, there is no acceptance of the living entity as spirit soul, and therefore his explanation of evolution is incomplete. Varieties of phenomena occur within this universe on account of the actions and reactions of the three material modes. But the original creator of the cause is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is mentioned here as Nimitta Matram, the remote cause. He simply pushes the will with his energy. According to the Mayavadi philosophers, the Supreme Brahman has transformed himself into many varieties of forms, but that is not the fact. He is always transcendental to the actions and reactions of the material gunas, although he is the cause of all causes. Lord Brahma says, therefore, in the Brahma Samhita 5.1, Ishvara, Padma Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadyarda Govinda, Sarvakarna Karanam. There are many causes and effects, but the original cause is Sri Krishna. Om Nikantipadandasya Gananjana Shalagaya Chakshulan Meditam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Kadadavachalam Pangam Langa Tekidim Yat Kripata Maham Vande Shri Gurun Ditanam Vanchakap Dribishta Kripasandabevicha Patitanam Bhavanebo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. My dear Dhruva, translation. My dear Dhruva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. He is the remote cause of the creation of this material cosmic manifestation. When He gives the impetus, many other causes and effects are produced. And thus the whole universe moves, just as iron moves by the integrated force of a magnet. And there's quite a lot of feedback here, huh? Huh? Where is he? I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of feedback. Monday, Wednesday. So yeah, there's Maya, and then there's Krishna, and then there's us, jivas. Of course, there's different types of jivas, but so the idea is to gradually or quickly, however we could do it, free ourselves from Maya, free ourselves from illusion. And of course we can't free ourselves, but we could work and strive in such a way that Krishna will feel inclined, and He'll order Maya to leave us alone, or order Maya to unleash us, means take the bonds off of the illusory energy. So, and ultimately, yeah, Krishna, He's in charge of the illusory energy. It's His energy. The Mayavadis, or the persons who accept Krishna as impersonal, Prabhupada would say that they're trying to mutilate the Supreme Personality of Godhead, saying that He has no eyes and has no nose and has etc., can't taste, can't smell, can't hear. So they're just practically mutilating Him, and therefore devotees, they get upset about that. They get angry. It's not that they're just doing it for fun, or they're trying to find somebody to criticize or whatever, but they actually feel that these people are offensive, and they are. So the Mayavadis, they'll say that all of the souls within this world, that they are God, or we are God, and we've just forgotten that. We've forgotten that we're God, and somehow or other we've been covered by illusion. So Prabhupada would make the point all the time that if we were to be covered by illusion, and if we were God, then that means illusion is greater than God. So it doesn't make any sense. Because illusion is God's energy, or Krishna's energy. So it's not that that the soul can be covered by illusion. I mean, the soul means this. If somebody's accepting that I'm God, that they could be covered by illusion. But still, they say that we're covered by illusion, even though we're God. And therefore, they say that what they're undergoing is pastimes in this world. So it's pastimes. So them taking birth, that's a pastime. Them, coming out of their mother's womb and crying and being covered in whatever they're covered in when they come out of their mother's womb. And crying and, having jaundice, and having to, like I had jaundice apparently. I don't remember, but my mother told me I had jaundice, my body, and I had to lay under a light for quite some time, days. And, that's a pastime, according to them. Or, my head was shaped in a particular way, which was considered abnormal, wasn't. So then people they would visit, and they would say, oh, is his head going to stay like that? And my mother said, oh, no, the doctor said it will, kind of become more normal. So that's a pastime, according to this philosophy. Or growing up and, I don't know, breaking your leg or getting beat up at school from some bully or whatever. So many different things. These are all pastimes. Whatever people do. Having so much pain in your teeth, right, at a particular stage in our lives, that's all pastime. So, according to the philosophy, the Mayavadi philosophy, then, that if we're all God, these are all pastimes, somehow. So the Vaishnavas, they don't accept that. They say that idea is Maya, that idea is illusion. And so they don't agree with it. And they don't agree with the Mayavadis trying to mutilate Krishna. So therefore they speak out against them. And therefore that was Srila Prabhupada's pranam mantra that we say every day, a few times a day. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Bhashtaya Bhutale. He's coming and delivering the Western world which is full of voidism and personalism, right? So Prabhupada was very interested in deconstructing that idea that we're all God, and giving the people the right idea that we are servants of God. That we're servants of God, and specifically here it says in the verse that Krishna, he's not under the modes of material nature. Passion, ignorance, goodness, whatever it is, he's not under the modes. This is another thing that, the Mayavadis, they say, there's an understanding that there's the modes and that the jiva, who's actually God, is under the modes, but it says that God never falls under the modes, right? Therefore, what's his name? Achyuta means one who never falls. Infallible. And then Prabhupada mentions Darwin's theory. There's no acceptance of the living entity as spirit soul, and therefore his explanation of evolution is incomplete. So whether it's Darwin or different people, of course sometimes devotees, especially in the West, I mean I don't really know so much about India because I don't spend much time there, but they have a hard time sometimes they have a hard time rejecting Darwin. Darwin's become it's like they're rejecting their uncle or something, It's just, they have a lot of affection towards Darwin. Here in America, they have a lot of affection towards Darwin. It's like their uncle, Srila Prabhupada or devotees They speak out against Darwin, and it's almost like they're speaking out against one of their family members or something. They get angry, and they have a hard time rejecting him, which Srila Prabhupada, there's so many statements which Srila Prabhupada just flat out rejected him and his ideas. So yeah, it is a challenge, and it's, you could say, cultural conditioning. We've been spoon-fed that since we were 5 years old. I mean, to tell you the truth, I remember it, but I never really got absorbed in it or attached to it or interested in it. I just thought, okay, these guys are just whatever. They're just at school. They're just teaching something. I mean, I didn't really take it so seriously. But a lot of people do. It's like dead serious. This is it. So yeah, one can still be a devotee, obviously, if they accept Darwin. And they may be a devotee if they accept so many things. I mean, devotees do so many things. But ultimately, Srila Prabhupada said many times that, yeah, he didn't accept that theory. It's a theory, and it's a speculation, and it's not in the Vedas, and he doesn't accept it. And one reason he gives is there's no acceptance of the living entity as spirit soul. So Darwin, as far as Prabhupada said, and goes, that he didn't accept the idea of a spirit soul, which that's the very foundation, practically speaking, of our philosophy, that we are the spirit soul. And if we weren't the spirit soul, then nothing we do makes any sense. Like, absolutely makes no sense. Chanting Hare Krishna, thinking about Krishna, trying this idea of going back to Krishna, reincarnation, like, all of these things make absolutely no sense if there's no soul. So, but if there is a soul, it does make sense. Reincarnation, karma, the spiritual world, Krishna, it does make sense if there's a soul. So these soulless theories or soulless philosophies, they encourage one to act on a bodily platform. And bodily platform means acting according to the urges of the body as one's main source of happiness. One's main source of happiness is the body and the mind. And aside from that, one becomes very attached to the body, and specifically to the body's designations. I'm a man. I become very attached to that. I am a woman. They become very attached to that. I was born as a man, but now I want to become a woman. They become very attached to that. I was born as a woman, but now I want to become a man. They become very attached to that. So, and what to speak of ethnicity and so on, they become very attached. They want to identify with their ethnicity, and then because certain people aren't like their bodies, then they hate them because they're just not like them, and they have their group and they hate the other groups. So yeah, if there's no soul, it means we're the body. It means we identify with the body, the ethnicity, and there's a lot of frustration and anger and hatred usually because of that. And therefore, Prabhupada would never like these philosophies that say there's no soul, because it opens up the door to all types of just chaos and actually demoniac life. And Prabhupada says, there's the evolution idea that Darwin had, right? The bodies are evolving, right? Mutating. But he says it's incomplete because there's no idea of a soul. So yeah, ultimately the Vedic conclusion is that everything is coming from Krishna. So yeah, we are all coming from Krishna, this world's coming from Krishna, certain ideas are coming from Krishna. Actually, everything's coming from Krishna. Even Maya is coming from Krishna. Even all these crazy ideas are ultimately, or these crazy paths that people like to take, means destructive paths and so on. It's all actually coming from Krishna. So the idea is that Krishna is just giving people facilities to carry out their desires, whatever those desires might be, whether they're demoniac or good or mediocre. Krishna gives people the freedom and even the intelligence to carry out those. Although it's not that Krishna is liking those particular things, but he's so liberal that he will even give the intelligence. But of course, because it's the person's desires, they have to suffer the consequences behind their actions. But the idea is that gradually everything in this world is supposed to bring the souls back to Krishna. And that is practically the function of this world. The function of this world is, one, to give the souls a place in which they could gratify their senses or fulfill their desires, which you could just look around and everybody's trying to do that. And two is that when the souls become frustrated from failed attempts to gratify their desires, then they turn to Krishna, and the world acts as a place in which they'll be gradually encouraged and brought out of this world back to the spiritual world. So devotees are all members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We're all supposed to help, not the first part, we're not supposed to help people gratify their desires and so on. Or we're not really supposed to get into gratifying our own desires. But we're supposed to be in the second part of the program. And the second part of the program is getting out of this world, us, ourselves, but aside from us getting out, encouraging others as well. And that can mean so many things. We encourage people in Krishna consciousness by maybe kirtans we lead, or by our behavior, or by kind words, or by teaching them, or by cooking nice prasad. There's so many ways in which we could encourage people to in Krishna consciousness, and this actually encourages them to gradually make their way out of the hellish suffering of the material world, of the cycle of birth and death. And people remember these things. I mean, people remember kirtans. They say, oh wow, really good kirtan. Whoever led it, this person, that person, really great kirtan. And then they come back. Or, oh, those people are really nice, and then they come back. Or some girl who comes to the temple recently, she had the cookies last night. They were peanut butter cookies. Larry made them. So she said, oh, these are so nice cookies. And she said, these are the cookies I had when I first came to the temple. So it's like a memory that's impressed within her mind that she can't forget. The cookies she had when she first came to the temple. So this is the idea that devotees, whether here we're at the temple, and whether we go out to preach or whatever, if we don't go out to preach, we're here, we're supposed to create favorable impressions in people's minds by this way or that way. And when we go out, that's the idea, to do the same thing. And then that will stay in people's minds. And then when the time's right, or the time's always right, but at least when they're ready, then they'll make their way towards Krishna. And they start the process. So yeah, we have to fight against atheistic philosophies and the Mayavadis and the Darwinists and the atheistic philosophies. We have to fight against these philosophies and establish Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God. Of course, he's already established, but within people's minds, establish Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God and create favorable impressions. And in this way, we can be of service to our spiritual master, to Srila Prabhupada, and to the whole parampara, the whole disciplic succession, and ultimately Krishna. And this, when Krishna gives the order, when Krishna gives the empowerment, it's irresistible. Whatever he says is irresistible. It says, just as an iron moves by the integrated force of a magnet. So you have iron and you have a magnet. You can't. They're immediately come together. So when Krishna gives the order, then it must happen. So Krishna gave the order that Krishna consciousness is going to spread all over the world in the form of Lord Chaitanya, right? Prithivityache nagaradigram, that where in every town and village my name will be sung. That's what Krishna, Lord Chaitanya said. So it's already there, the empowerment, the order. So it's just a question of who will get the credit, who will actually participate in that, in fulfilling that. But it's already going to happen, so we just have to make up our minds whether we want to be a part of it or not. So does anyone have any questions or comments? What's for breakfast? I think waffles and fruit and oatmeal by Zach. So it'll be a New Zealand breakfast. Zach and Ryan. It'll be New Zealand, Virginia breakfast. Oh, really? Hash browns in Virginia? We've actually never really had hash browns here. We have a lack of hash browns. Hash browns are good. All right, Jamal, you could start making hash browns tomorrow. I mean Sunday. No hash browns? Why not? Oh, really? Oh, really? I'm thinking of the ones that are like shredded hash browns. Are like I think you shred them with a grate or something. I don't know how they stay together, but cornstarch or something. I don't know. Flour. Yeah, hash browns is very important. Have you ever had hash browns? See, Ramapa's never had hash browns. You have to. Hash browns is it's a traditional American thing. It's like you grate potatoes, and it's like a patty. It's like a little patty. It's like a potato patty shredded, like salt and pepper. I think it's just. But tostadas. Have you ever had tostadas? This is a Hispanic Mexican thing. Tostadas. It's like this is a very important information going out there. Any devotees who haven't had tostadas, you have to have tostadas. obviously cooked with love and devotion and offered to Krishna, and then but it's a thin like tortilla. It's like crunchy, and you get refried beans and you put it on with lettuce and tomato and sour cream and cheese. Usually, if you're vegan, you can put vegan cheese, vegan sour cream. So Zach hasn't had, Jamal hasn't had, and Mukunda, Charna hasn't had. Maybe Mukunda's listening to this. So we need to have a... Yeah, crunchy. We need to have a Kirtan Tostada gathering. Yeah, so we could plan on that. Yeah, exactly. Kirtan Tostada bonfire. Yeah. All right, Jeff.